Your trusted connectivity partner, Telkom Business, proudly brings you the Entrepreneurial SME Show.
Africa is witnessing a remarkable transformation in its financial services industry, driven by technological advancements and innovative business models. A wave of entrepreneurs and established companies are challenging traditional banking practices, expanding access to financial services. We have one of those innovators joining us in studio, Ramakrishnan, founder and CEO of Cloud23. This is the Entrepreneurial SME, and I'm Rams Mabote. Ram, good evening to you, and thank you for coming in.
Good evening, Ram.
You had to play with so many Rams in your name that at some point I could even get it wrong, but thank you for coming. What is Cloud23? What do you do?
So Cloud23 is a Salesforce partner. We do cloud computing for financial services and other industries, where we try to make the banks in this sector better. So that's what we do in our primary sense.
It sounded so easy from what I read out. I thought it was going to be more difficult than that. But one of the things that you do is that your business model, how do you differentiate it from your traditional model?
So we are a value-based company. For example, when we get into a bank or an investment bank or an insurance company, we'd like to understand what is the problem that they're going through, more than just blindly being there to do something. So for us, one of the examples that I would pick is we work with multiple banks in Africa, and one of the banks in Botswana wanted to automate the way in which they serve the client. And in that instance, the problem that we were having was for the people to navigate, take a taxi, go to a bank to get an account. Typically, it takes 12 hours to 14 hours to do all of these processes, whereas we tried to solve that with Salesforce as a technology, which is a cloud computing platform, and now we can do it in 20 minutes. So that sort of solutioning is what we do holistically, and in my humble opinion, the banks and the technical leaders see it as a digitization process, but we, as in Cloud23, put a full stop to people traveling, people taking a taxi, spending 5 days of salary to go to a bank and wait there, get a cup of coffee, and then come back with an account for which you're going to pay again.
Yeah.
So that's what we do in a nutshell.
Where was the genesis? It's been only, 3-4 years in the business. You started in 2021. Where does this all start?
So I've been in the tech space for a very long time, worked with the banks end. So when I saw this gap within the industry where there's no specialized industry vertical partners. Yeah. So then we started in 2021 as an API company. So of course, me being an engineer, we wanted to do something really core and go to it.
Yeah.
But when we got and branched out to understand the actual reality, not every problem is only engineering, not every problem is only technical. It's the people aspect of it around it. And when we got in the chance to embark this journey with the banks, we got in the most tricky problems to solve, and that's how we moved from there. So as a whole, we did start with an opportunistic mindset of let's solve what we get, but in the process, we were also empathetic enough to see beyond the problem, and that got us going into a positive snowball.
From the first minute we started speaking, you kept on saying the banks. So you walk across the bank, you work across the banks. So there's no question of them feeling they should own you.
Oh, no, definitely. So for us, when I refer to the banks, predominantly our work is in financial services space. Yeah. And it does comprise of lending, your banking, your mortgage origination, yeah, insurance, and so on and so forth. So that's what we work.
So, but what I mean is that from a brand point of view, without mentioning banks by name, is that when you get business with Bank A, they don't feel like you can't work with Bank C.
Oh, no, definitely. I can definitely put it forward. We work with Capitec Business Banking, Standard Bank, the Standard Bank subsidiaries, ABSAs, yeah, and the like. So pretty much we don't have a situation like that yet.
You've grown your staff to over 175 people in a short space of time. Is this a sign of something amazing that this business does, or the need out there, or both?
It is a bit of both, and I'd like to give the credit to Salesforce as the technology that's growing within the market. So the technology has been doubling in a couple of years. And if I look at 7, 8 years ago, Ram was one of the 50 to 70 Salesforce engineers in the country. Now Salesforce has invested time and effort and money to bring that to like 1,500 to 2,500 consultants in the region, and that is the main reason for the growth. It's not us, it's actually the tech and the associated supply demand that actually fed our growth.
What are some of the unique challenges that the African market, financial services market face that you get to deal with?
So one of the biggest issue that we face within the African market is, and it's so funny, African banks are the most profitable banks and the institutions in the world.
Really?
Compared to your American banks, European banks, and Asian banks. And the problem is, we spend, for example, this is how it goes. Like for every dollar we make, we spend around 65 cents. Whereas the other banks, for every dollar that they make, they spend 30 cents. So as much as we are the most profitable, our leaks are on the operational expense. So that's what we found as a niche, and that's what we are contributing towards in a positive way to say, how do we bring it down? And definitely people shouldn't be taking it as like, okay, now we're going to automate everything. The human touch is always there, but how do we equip the banker or the relationship manager or an insurance agent or an advisor to do their job better or even best to make the most out of it for the customer?
Very quickly, the banks would definitely need this and they're adapting well. How is the market adapting though? I mean, I still see lots of people queuing up at shopping malls at a particular ATM. How are people responding?
So definitely in a positive fashion, but that being said, there is a big gap between the common man who is comfortable to do an interaction like that versus a graduate who has just come out of the university willing to adopt to technology and so on and so forth. So there is a bit of a learning curve, but we are doing everything and anything to promote that sort of attitude because we're going to save a lot of...
I need to take a break.
Sure.
Remember the A, right?
Sure.
Don't touch that dial. We shall be back.